Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with InvestFourMore. We are at my commercial property. We're a church that was illegally renting this property, just vacated. So we're going to go inside, take a look around, see how they left it. It wasn't their fault it was an illegal rental. It's actually mine because the county did not allow a church here, even though zoning allows it. A previous site plan does not. So I won't go into that whole story again, but I will link to that story below in a video I recently did that talks about that whole situation. And so this property I bought a couple of years ago, and it's got a diesel shop renting part of it. We've got a car detailer slash car dealership that's not supposed to be there. They're only supposed to be a detailer repair shop, not a dealership, but we'll talk to them about that. And then we had the church. They moved out, and we'll figure out what we're going to put in there next, but we're not exactly sure. There's Billy's place. Unfortunately, kind of a transient who recently passed away, and they're working on the place next door. But let's take a look inside and see what this place looks like. Now, I had keys, but I kind of messed up the door a little bit. So the bottom door handle was not opening, and I didn't know what was going on. Turns out the handle was broken. So I pushed on the door just a little bit, thinking, oh, maybe there's something in the way blocking it, or something else, and it just broke that pretty easily. So, I mean, I'm kind of a big guy, but I wasn't expecting that to smash in so easily. Our deadbolt still works, but we'll definitely have our guys come fix that and make that much more secure. You can see at some point they had a board across there. That wasn't us who put those braces in to secure that door even better as well. Now, we also have some code violations we've got to fix because I talked about that story in the previous video as well, about the county getting mad at me for all kinds of different things. But here's what the space looks like. When I bought it, it had an open ceiling, so we did put in ceiling panels. And when I first walked in here, I was like, did they put a new floor in? I don't remember this floor. And so I talked to my contractor who did a little bit of work on this place before they moved in. And he's like, yeah, I think that floor was there. And we looked at videos, and it was always so dirty that I never even noticed that this epoxy floor was here. But I think they took a huge chunk out of it. And at first I'm like, did the church put this floor in? And after looking at videos and different things, I'm like, nope, I don't think so. And the other thing I was really confused about is like, oh, these walls are so scuffed up. And we never leave places like this for tenants, right? We always paint, make them very nice. And I was like, wow, they really messed these walls up. And then I went back and looked at my previous video, and that's how the walls look too. And so again, I talked to my contractor. I'm like, did we paint this? And he's like, no, we're going to paint it. And the church, before they moved in, said, don't paint it. We want to paint it. We'll let you know what colors we paint it, but we want to do it. So that's why we didn't paint it, is because they told us they were going to. They never did. They just kind of left it as it was. But we would have been happy to paint it before they moved in, had they wanted us to. And then, yeah, the floor is actually kind of cool. It's a little older, but it's not bad. It's definitely better than just basic, boring concrete. So that's good. It's got those kind of shop-type heaters. That was in there when we bought it. And the garage door looks pretty decent. That does open to the back. Another spot for storage. And then this, too, I'm like, did we there's no way we left it like this. Well, we didn't entirely. There was kind of a patch up there, but that outline of the outlet cover was still there. But again, we didn't paint it because we thought they were going to. So I can't be too annoyed at them for destroying the walls because it was like that. At the same time, like, we would have been happy to paint it for them if they wanted us to. The other kind of annoying thing is they never told us they left or were leaving or have stopped in. But it's obviously vacant and empty, and they wanted to leave by the end of March because they didn't want to pay any more rent, and they haven't paid any more rent for April. So, it'd be good if they came and talked to us as well. And if you have a vacant property, you have a right as a landlord to go in and inspect it and secure it. If it's completely vacant, make sure the heat's on, things like that. This fridge was not, it was kind of set up a little better, so they didn't do an amazing job of leaving it. It's not clean-ish. I mean, it's clean-ish, but not like super clean. We did mop the floor and clean it for them before they moved in. I just don't know if I have a video of that. So that's what the church looks like. I know it doesn't look like a church, right? They brought in their own chairs. They had kind of a setup back by the garage door for where their stage was and different things. We obviously have some roof issues because you can see our new panels are a little bit leaky, so we'll check that out. I mean, honestly, I know the roof needs some work, but I didn't realize it was leaking. Here's the video before we rented it to them, what it looked like. Almost the same, but we did clean it after this. So, and then I want to talk about the building code violations just a little bit. We were looking at that, trying to figure that out, because part of the county's requirements was they wanted to send a building inspector through here because we rented the church illegally, because even though it was allowed per zoning, wasn't allowed per a site plan in 2014, which only wanted a grocery store in here. I've gone over that story a bunch. Like I said, I'll link to that video. But part of it was we let a building inspector come through, and he had a couple of real minor electrical issues that he found. And then the front door, he said, is not big enough for egress and opens in when it's supposed to open out. And the bathrooms did not have enough room for a church. I think they want ADA bathrooms. And then there was a couple of other minor issues. Nothing too crazy. So that was, the hard part's that door. Is there stone around it? But we could fix that. There's different things we can fix. And the bathroom situation kind of depends on who rents this now. And ironically, I had asked, I had a liquor store who wanted to rent this. And I asked the county, hey, do we need bathrooms? Do we need public bathrooms for a liquor store? And they said, you can hire an architect and they can study our code and they will figure it out for you. We're not going to tell you. But then they, told me what code violations I had and what was required for the church. But they won't tell me. Anyway, that's another story. So there you can see that patch we had in there before too. Oh, and one other thing the building code or inspector said was, the panels, the electrical panels are used, which were in there when I bought the property. And this place was used as an event center when I bought the property. So it was actually the same use as a church, but they didn't go after the previous people because they didn't post YouTube videos like I did. Again, that's a crazy story. But they said the electrical panels were definitely used, and they show no permits for those panels being pulled. So someone put in electrical panels at some point without doing permits. So that was one of their complaints as well. But we'll get this all figured out. We'll try and find a new tenant. And then once we find a new tenant, then we can work on amending the site plan and continuing work on this property. So that's the church. That's the property. That's how it looks. Not bad. They'll definitely get their deposit back. Maybe have a little bit of cleaning fees in there. But at first I'm like, oh man, we have so much work to do because they messed it up. But it really wasn't their fault. Of course, there's always people parking all over the place here, so that's an issue. We'll figure out what's going on there. And we'll have more updates on this with the county, building codes, things like that here coming up soon.